Anthropic published the official masterclass on Claude Code. Over 1 million views, 30 minutes of advanced features, shortcuts, and workflows. This is the visual breakdown thing. Everything you need to master Claude Code in one video. Quick note, the original was from May 2025. Claude Code has evolved fast since then, but these fundamentals still apply, and they're the foundation everything else builds on. Let's go. First, what Claude Code actually is. It's not a chatbot. It's not an autocomplete tool. It's an agentic coding assistant that runs in your terminal. You type what you want in plain English. Claude reads your code base, writes code, runs commands, creates files, fixes bugs, and manages Git all autonomously. The key word is agentic. Claude Code doesn't just suggest, it acts. It reads files, makes edits, runs tests, checks the output, and iterates until the task is done. You're not pair programming with an assistant. You're delegating to an agent that understands your entire project. The core of Claude Code is the agentic loop. Here's how it works. You give Claude a task. Claude analyzes what needs to be done and breaks it into steps. It reads the relevant files to understand context. It makes edits or writes new code. It runs tests or commands to verify the changes work. If something fails, it reads the error, diagnoses the issue, and fixes it. Then it repeats until the task is complete. This loop is the fundamental difference between Claude Code and every other coding tool. It doesn't stop at generation. It verifies, iterates, and self-corrects. One prompt can trigger dozens of reads, edits, and command executions, all without you touching the keyboard. The most powerful feature most people miss is CLAUDE.md. This is a markdown file in your project root that gives Claude persistent context about your code base. Think of it as onboarding documentation for your AI agent. What goes in it? Your tech stack, architecture decisions, coding conventions, tabs or spaces, naming patterns, import order, testing approach, which framework, how to run tests, common commands, build, lint, deploy. Anything you tell a new developer on day one. Claude reads this file at the start of every session. It shapes every decision Claude makes. Without it, Claude guesses your conventions. With it, Claude writes code that looks like your team wrote it. This is the highest leverage thing you can do to improve Claude Code's output. Claude Code has a layered permission system that balances power with safety. By default, Claude asks before running commands or editing files. You approve each action. But this gets tedious fast. The permission system has multiple modes. You can allow specific tool categories. Let Claude read any file but ask before editing. You can allow all actions in a session. You can set project level permissions in your CLAUDE.md or settings. The smartest approach, start restrictive. Then open up as you build trust. For your own projects, most developers end up in a mode where Claude reads freely, edits freely, and only asks before running potentially destructive commands. The goal is zero permission prompts for routine work while keeping guardrails for anything risky. Slash commands are your shortcuts to power features. Slash init generates a Claude.md file by analyzing your project. It reads your code, identifies patterns, and creates the context document automatically. Slash review does a code review of your current changes. Point it at a PR and it finds bugs, suggests improvements, and catches edge cases. Slash compact compresses your conversation when the context gets long. It summarizes what happened, so Claude retains the important context without hitting token limits. Slash clear resets the conversation entirely. Fresh start. And slash help shows you everything available. These commands are the difference between using Claude Code casually and using it like a power user. The people who get the most value chain these commands together. Init once, then iterate with review and compact as sessions go long. Let me walk you through the workflows that make Claude Code transformative. Bug fixing. Paste an error message. Claude traces it through your code base, finds the root cause, fixes it, and runs the tests to confirm. Feature building. Describe what you want in plain English. Claude creates the files, writes the code, adds tests, and iterates until everything passes. Refactoring. Tell Claude to migrate from one pattern to another. It finds every instance across your codebase, makes the changes consistently, and verifies nothing breaks. Git workflows. Claude can create branches, stage changes, write commit messages that actually describe what changed, and even create pull requests. Code exploration. Ask Claude to explain how a module works. It reads the code, traces the call chain, and gives you a clear explanation with file references. Each of these would take a human developer significant time. Claude does them in minutes. Advanced features that separate beginners from power users. Extended thinking. Claude can reason through complex problems step by step before acting. You'll see this in the thinking blocks. Claude mapping out its approach before writing any code. Multi-file editing. Claude handles changes across dozens of files simultaneously. Rename a component and it updates every import, every test, every reference. Context management. When sessions get long, use slash compact strategically. Don't wait until you hit limits. Compact early to keep the most relevant context. Headless mode. Run Claude Code in scripts and CI pipelines. Automate code reviews, generate documentation, or run checks on every pull request. Session continuation. If your terminal closes or you step away, dash dash continue picks up exactly where you left off. No lost context. No re explaining what you were doing. Tips from the official Anthropic team and the community. Be specific in your prompts. Don't say make it better. Say refactor this function to use async await and add error handling for the API call on line 42. Give Claude the full picture. Share error messages, test output, screenshots. The more context you provide, the better the result. Let Claude iterate. Don't interrupt after the first edit. Let the agentic loop run. Claude will often catch its own mistakes on the second or third pass. Use Git as your safety net. Claude works with Git natively. If something goes wrong, you can always revert. And finally, read what Claude does. Don't blindly accept changes. The learning comes from understanding the approach Claude takes. You'll become a better developer by studying how Claude solves problems. That's the complete visual breakdown of Anthropic's Mastering Claude Code tutorial. Remember, the original was from May 2025. Since then, Claude Code has added skills, hooks, MCP servers, agent teams, and more. But everything in this video is still the foundation. Master these fundamentals first, then build on top. Full credit to Anthropic. Link to the original 30-minute tutorial in the description. All three of my guides are also in the description. The Claude Code Guide, the Codex Guide, and the 10 repos to 200K AI Engineer Guide. Subscribe for more deep dives. See you in the next one.